Hello, my name is Germana Ravanelli. I come to you from Vancouver Island. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, a personal trainer, a nutritional therapist with decades of being, fortunate enough to be of service to other people and to help them. And I'm creating this video today just to provide a little inspiration for people who want it on how to live their best life. I know that many of us, have our own particular life challenges, and I wrote a book a couple of years ago that I've rewritten, and it's called We Do Recover. And it's all about recovering from generational trauma, abuse, neglect, basically pain that's been passed on generation from generation. And then I learned to stop the cycle, and I needed to write a book about it. My therapist said, you need to write a book. This is so intense. And he said, that you weren't traumatized, you were tortured. And it's a miracle that you actually have the ability to care about another human being. And I was like, whoa. So I did write that book, and I'm going to share one chapter with you, part of a chapter. And it's all about COVID and getting through COVID by using the tools that I'd had for so many years. So it's called The Mastery of Living Well. So I am going to read to you. In 2020, the pandemic took us by surprise and spun us around. What were we going to do to make a living, to survive, to live well? My spiritual practice allowed me to stay balanced. The routine of spiritual, emotional, and physical training brought me to a place of peace. I reconnected with what was important. Was I being loving in this moment? It's a very interesting question to ask ourselves. Was I grounded in a place of love and not fear? When we give into fear, it spirals down into the trauma we've experienced. We become victims, making others responsible for our feelings and actions when in reality, the real enemy is within our minds, what our head's telling us. My belief system says that we are souls inhabiting a body attending Earth School. So we have to ask ourselves certain questions. What am I learning or choosing not to learn? How am I showing up or not showing up? Am I acting out the tyrant that lives inside my mind? The part that likes to attack and criticize and judge? Am I being the victim or the judge? Or am I a messenger of peace and love? Now, a person needs to do work on themselves, and they say that people that are spiritual, being spiritual comes from trauma. The only way that you can actually heal and be present and not, toxic is by finding some kind of a path that allows love to become who you really are, which is your true self. And if it's love I'm after, am I looking for it inside myself? Or am I seeking it outside of myself? Most of us are taught it's outside. It doesn't work, by the way. I've tried to make someone else the bad guy, and all that does is throw me back into the cycle of trauma. And there I am, back in my old comfort zone of chaos and crisis, acting it out over and over again. I've had to learn not to devalue or abandon myself. This is not an amazing or colorful awakening, but to understand it is profound. Moving through a time of drastic change, I ask myself, how can I be of service? More importantly, am I in my right mind? And most of us know that most of us were not in our right mind during the pandemic. By that I mean, have I taken care of myself first? It's only when I am grounded and authentic that I can look at someone caught in their own cycle of delusion and denial and not engage. I can wait and watch and know that behind that bluster, rage and tears is a sacred soul. But when we're caught in that place, we are the script writer and director of our own scary movie. It's so tempting to stay in that storyline. We know it. It's familiar. The mind is always searching for a story to attach meaning to. And the familiar story comes with pain. We are the victims of that pain. And when we grab onto that, the trauma and abuse we suffer are back. Right here, right now, the negativity and fear can and does destroy us. And that's what makes people sick. Their body starts to break down. It's like trying to grow flowers and use vinegar and acid for water. It doesn't work. And our thoughts are the vinegar and the acid, or nurtured water. One wise friend said, more people will die from how they respond to COVID than will ever die from COVID. And that's because they are not managing their minds. They go down the rabbit hole. We have to create meaning in our lives, meaning that is not rooted in the trauma of our past. I am so proud of my son, who has done just that. He has created a successful life with his strong work ethic and self-discipline. He never gave up. Maybe that was the torch I handed off to him. Never give up. He saw my struggles as a single mother. He knew that I refused to throw in the towel. Too many young people don't have a vision for the future. Without that, they lose themselves. My deepest wish is that I can show people that there's a future full of love and hope. We have the choice to free ourselves from ourselves. That is true freedom, and in that freedom lies power. When you free yourself from your ego and your telling and retelling of the story, you can no longer be a victim. But many people don't want to hear that. They want to say, no, it's my mother's fault. It's my father's fault. It's anyone's fault but mine. My friend calls this pain-seeking behavior because it's helpless. I have no power here. It's their fault. That means I'm a victim. And there's huge power in that, because we go, oh, you poor thing. And we've all been victimized, make no mistake. But living there is insane. What would you rather have? Pain or freedom? The only way to achieve freedom is to do your inner work daily. It has to be a practice, because the mind is just waiting to jump in and tell you the bad news or give you reasons why your life isn't working. And you have no idea what's happening behind the scenes in your favor, by the way. When I stopped seeing myself as a victim, but as a force, and when I became clear about what I wanted the universe to deliver, miracle after miracle appeared. When the doors opened, I knew it was time to pay attention. I'm not special. These miracles are available for anyone who is willing to receive them by leaving the role of victim behind. The problem with most of us is that we think that we're special, unique, one of a kind, little magicians, but we don't always know what kind of magic we're creating. Heaven or hell. It takes as much energy, but it's all about the energy, and then it creates our environment. If things don't go our way, we want to blame someone else. We create our world, and that creation can be beautiful or frightening. Our physical world matters. I know I want a home that feels like home when I walk into it. I want to feel like it's hugging me. This is my space of peace, love, and serenity. That's important. It's our creation, an extension of our lives. And I'll share this. A friend said, when the mind starts telling that old story, lean back and be the witness. If you notice your story as an observer, your mind's nattering will cease, having validity, because you'll see it for what it is. There's that voice again, trying to make me think that the world is coming apart or that people don't like me. The last one has had a tremendous impact on me. My subconscious mind has told me all my life that people won't like me if, fill in the blank. I made a decision to be aware and then to recognize that that's not even true. We all have some kind of a negative message, and we have to deprogram these messages. They're false, and they run our lives. My inner work involved noticing when people liked me, and more importantly, when I liked me. I had to stop looking for others' approval or acceptance to be okay. Most of us are looking for someone to say, yes, you're amazing. But here's the problem. If someone can give you that approval and that glorious feeling, they can also take it away. Most of us are giving our power away. Gradually, I am taking off my masks and becoming my authentic self. This transformation is exciting. I am discarding the mask of the victim and the mask of the storyteller. At some point, we have to let go of the story, or it will define our lives. We are not our masks, our identities, or our stories. We are souls with the ability to live amazing lives. I recently adopted a beautiful little Chihuahua puppy who taught me that we need to be more like dogs. Live in the present and love. I'm going to leave that with you. I hope that there's something here that kind of lifts your heart, and that you, if you want help to create a spiritual practice or a wellness practice, I'm more than happy to support you in whatever way makes sense. I will share other little bits, and this is from my memoir that I had written for the second time once we got through COVID. Thank you for your time. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Feel free to share if you like it. Feel free to reach out to me. I do have some time to respond. Thank you for your time.